This is the Misdirected Mark Podcast, a podcast about gaming, game mastering, and entertaining you, our listeners. We are explicit, you have been warned, and I'd like to thank Mike Willard for letting us use his music on our show. Now let's pick up those mics and get on with this thing.
Yes, let us pick up those mics and get on with this episode 307 of the Misdirected Mark Podcast, where we are going to go back to Youngzi and get our Werefu on with some more High Plains Samurai. And with that, my name is Chris.
My name is Phil.
And I'm the MMP Uber.
That's right.
Also known as Old Man Logan.
That's right. Bob drives us around a lot.
He really does. I should probably give him like money at some point for gas.
That's because Bob has Bob always buys a big car.
Yeah.
Like he likes SUVs and stuff.
I lease, man.
Yeah. And I am like I actually like sedans a lot, which is, ironic because I'm big and you would think I might like a big car, but I actually don't. So it never works out with me shuttling people around. Like, it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's funny.
So,
well, with that, I suppose
We're back.
we're back, and I should say, Phil, buddy old pal, what is going on?
what is going on, man? What am I doing? So,
I don't know. What are you doing?
Oh,
we seem less than enthusiastic and kind of out of sorts tonight. What is going on with us?
well, we missed a week.
There's that.
Which we'll talk about. So I think it just kind of it threw it off. We're not out of sorts in terms of energy, right? Like,
No,
we
not
just
at all.
like,
We
had
have
a fun,
energy.
We had a fun dinner, and we actually had a lively discussion before we get started. No, we were like, just all our setup and stuff was a little off tonight. So my week, I don't know. I did a lot of prep. I did a lot of encoded stuff, not game design encoded stuff. Like, I did business stuff. We had a meeting to discuss Iron Edda.
yeah, that happened.
That was a thing. And I was working on building our intranet site this weekend because one of the things we don't have until now is like a central repository of knowledge. Like, where do you find the link for the POD calculator, for Ingram Spark, and where do you find, the email address for whoever. So I worked on a bunch of that this weekend. I did on Saturday afternoon attend Infinity War. Lid is on, by the way, so our listeners don't panic.
Just one thing to say that's not a spoiler, and then you won't be disappointed.
Right.
Good movie.
Unless you're Brett.
Unless you're Brett.
And then you'll be massively disappointed. But just in this case, categorically wrong.
Wow.
Oh, please. I just said it on the mics. You said it off the mic.
I don't know what you're talking about. I said nothing. I work with that guy, okay?
Yeah.
So do you, but I work directly with him.
Phil.
Yeah.
Brett has guns, man.
And he knows how to use them.
Yeah, he
At
is.
distance.
You know what? He is a decent man who can disagree without having to resort to
There you
violence.
go.
It's funny, Wally just said in the chat, spoiler alert, you will like Infinity War. That's not universally true, apparently.
Apparently it's
Apparently.
not. Brett,
Crazy, right?
Brett didn't. Anyway, Bob and I went and saw it. Since we won't talk about Infinity War, I will say that I had been really good about not watching any trailers for Deadpool or Solo. Mm-hmm. So I thoroughly enjoyed both of the trailers.
They're really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Deadpool one looks just amazing.
Don't call it a comeback.
Oh my god!
Whoever
does the Deadpool soundtracks, I just love it. Like,
Deadpool is, for being Ryan Reynolds, who's completely a white dude, that movie looks, and the soundtrack is so hood.
oh god, it's so good.
Coming from a white guy.
Yeah. So that and the Solo one, like, I'm totally on board with
Yeah,
Solo.
Solo
I
looks
hear
good.
people are getting like, but you know what? I'm not. Like, I saw the trailer. I'm totally down.
It's Star Wars, and it looks great.
And Lando, man.
Lando's gonna steal
Lando.
everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Everything you've heard about me, it's true.
There was a cool clip where I always forget the actor's name.
Donald Glover.
So Donald Glover took you on a tour of the Millennium Falcon, and he takes you to Lando's closet on the ship, and it's like full of capes, and it's amazing, right? Like, he's just going through the different capes.
Yeah.
Like your sister's wedding cape, like your night out cape.
You should put in, you should start a chat for after show. Because Rob Eberzado just asked about Venom, which we'll talk about in the after show. But I want to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about Venom.
The after show.
So anyway, that was good. That was pretty much. And I played Tales from the Loop. I started a new mystery in Tales from the Loop, and
Yeah, you did.
it was super teenage drama. meets Transformers.
It was a teenage
I'll let
drama.
Bob actually talk a little bit about it. I thought it actually went off pretty well. Like I'm actually really pleased with how that game. I'm really pleased the way the group attacks that game. Like they attack being in character like really well.
Yeah. Jerry and I, or Glenn and I, hit the tropes hard.
Yeah.
Tony's the rainmaker, so he makes it rain.
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything crazy in the game.
No, but he doesn't,
But he doesn't swim upstream.
Yeah.
So in this one, in this one they discover that the toys that the kids got for the birthday party, our friends the machines, are actually sentient. Like they're Transformers. And Tony's like, Glenn and Bob are like, we have to help the convoy. Like they're our friends. And Tony's like, we have to kill them all. Like no sentient AI is good.
Phil,
like,
did you ever see Small Soldiers?
I didn't.
This is Small Soldiers. It's little toy soldiers, and the good guys and the bad guys are all alive.
I do love that.
But the good guys are like the humans, and the bad guys are the humans, and the good guys are the aliens in that movie.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's very much like that meets Transformers.
So you all have seen. You're talking about your game, but
yeah,
you've all seen. Oh, can you just put Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer as
Yep,
thing for the after show?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just going to do that from now on.
No, that was good. It's good to talk about.
Continue.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it was. It played really well. I mean, I heavily modified the adventure. Like, I actually was. It's interesting. I'll just briefly mention it. The Adventures in Tales from the Loop, the actual core game, those mysteries are actually really tight. Like they're really tight, easy to follow. In our Friends the Machine, that first, which is the supplement, that first mystery is like super loose. Like it doesn't actually give you an ending.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's like, well, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. So last week when I was prepping it, I was like, oh, okay, there's no defined ending to this thing. Oh, I'll make a path like through this material.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll make a mystery that I want to play out. So I'm actually pretty pleased with it. Like it's turning out to be a lot of it was a lot of fun to write. I hope it is a lot of fun when it plays. So anyway, that's me. What about you, Robert?
Infinity War. That's all I say. We did see that. We had some great discussions about it. Yesterday, we had our first session after doing character creation 2 weeks ago. We had our first session last night online of Dungeon World using the Perilous Wilds setting stuff. And boy, our characters are in deep trouble. We're gonna get our asses handed to us. We're in a northern wasteland with a volcano by it, and the volcano's erupting and hucking giant lava rocks that crack open to reveal lava spiders. And
Bob was freaked out at that point.
Oh, did you
Team
not?
Nope.
Did you not Lines and Veil?
Look, man.
No, it was all right. It's fake,
Look, man. Like
the art for it that he showed us was fabulous.
Did he draw it?
No, it was from World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
He drew a map though, because he's Drew.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's Drew.
That game, like, we get teleported to the middle of nowhere with like very little things because we're expecting to go to Vex Castle, and then a volcano erupts.
So it's like a funny thing happened on the way to Ovex Castle.
No,
Kind of
after Ovex Castle.
After Ovex
you
Castle.
guys are leaving Ovex Castle.
Well, we got teleported away accidentally.
Oh, okay.
It's like this is more like we're in the middle of nowhere. We have no idea where we're at.
Yeah.
The first thing that happens is a volcano erupts.
Nice.
Yep.
And it's cold and it's spewing ash everywhere.
Awesome.
No, it wasn't.
It was deadly and painful.
Like this is like survival.
Yeah.
This is Dungeon World, the survival game.
Which is weird because when I usually play games like this, there are rules in place to try to kill me. But this game doesn't have rules in place to kill me because it's Dungeon World, right?
Yeah.
So it's not about surviving the hex crawl. It's about the story of how we survive the hex crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We have an interesting bunch of characters too, so that'll be fun.
Sorry, Gerrymander plays in that game. He's like, cross the fucking river, because he was yelling it for a while, and we eventually crossed the river to get away from the lava spider. Yeah. But the river, crossing the river was problematic because it was clogged with ash, which made it like cement. It wasn't
like
fun.
fast flowing cement.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun.
Great.
Yeah.
It was fun. But
of course, Geology guy is like fucking turning the river into fucking cement and shit.
I estimate later on somewhere we'll find a town where they're fracking, but. So we did that. That was last night. Sunday morning, we got together, the three of us here to
Review Infinity War.
Well, let's talk about Infinity
ostensibly we got together to do the Sunday morning.
We were going to play a game.
We were going
Right.
to do a game of
Sequence.
but we started talking about Infinity War, and then we talked about some other stuff too. But
We talked about
but that's
Chris's
what we did.
feels.
We did. We
We
talked
did some
about
of that,
Chris's
talked
feels
about
towards
Chris's
the end.
feels.
We are not going to talk about Chris's feels. in
No,
the
it's
mic.
okay.
No.
It was a deep
So
discussion.
there was all that, and then last week when the show didn't go off because Chris had the plague,
Oh,
Mr. The Plague, just the plague. Phil and I went and sat in.
that's a good reference.
Yeah, Phil and I went and sat in Panera and did some work, and I wrote a new game. So I have to throw a prototype together, and
I did not write
yet
a new
another game.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember what I was working on.
Weren't you working on the website for?
I don't
Encoded?
remember.
Phil doesn't remember. Phil's tired.
Yeah.
It all blends together.
Phil was busy up late last night recording interesting podcasts for all of us to listen to.
Yes.
Yeah, I was
All of them.
making podcasts.
Making podcasts.
Making
Yeah.
podcasts.
And now he's making podcasts again.
Yeah,
There you go.
and I'm doing it tomorrow too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm on Brian Bolter,
Oh, cool.
the character creation one. Senda and I are doing Headspace
Nice.
with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's good.
What's the name of the podcast?
Oh God. I want to say it's character creation. Character create. I'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I
So-
going to do me then?
Yeah, Chris, how about you, man?
I'm going to do me then. That
Well, that's
sounds-
'cause
that sounds
You
awful.
do
It's
you,
okay.
Chris.
It's healthy, man. You
do
do
you.
you.
I mean, only lefty
Yeah.
though.
Really?
We had this discussion.
Ambidextrous, man.
I know you are. It's weird.
Okay.
I mean,
That's
no,
not
nothing
weird.
wrong
That's
with a little
that's
crossover
efficient.
hold.
I don't know if
That's
it's.
efficient.
I don't know if I mean Big Master.
Every
Every day's arm day.
Every day's on day. All right, here we go.
That
Anyways,
T-shirt's gonna get made.
Any who's
I was really ill,
oh yeah.
like viciously ill. So
viciously ill.
So Merwin and me are supposed to record Down with D&D on Tuesday last week, and I fell asleep when I got home because I was so sick from work. I get up 15 minutes late, get on the mics, and I'm like, Sean, I'm dying. Can we not record? And he's like, sure. And then not too long after that, I was like, all right, boys, I'm dead. We cannot record a show. And that has never happened, I don't think.
No.
So 7 years, and I've never done that.
It was not good, and I didn't even mess with it because like when you say like it's Tuesday and I can't record,
Yeah.
I'm
that
like
means it's serious.
I went and lit a candle at church. I wasn't sure you were gonna make it.
One, I didn't want to infect anybody else.
Yeah.
I did not want to be infected.
Yeah.
GI is my least favorite of all illnesses.
It wasn't just GI, man. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
It was everything. Like my head, I was like achy and weak for a couple of days after that. It was awful.
You had. It sounds like you had flu.
I had the flu.
Apparently, Viciously Ill is the Ditch Lilies live album.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, we had
Rob
a ditch-
Eberzato
hey,
coming through in the clutch again.
So since you're like the Ditch Lilies #1 fan or #2 fan, depending
Yeah.
on if it's you or Senda.
It varies.
So what cool tracks are on Viciously Ill?
And viciously ill.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably live recordings. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, so some of their classics,
such as
let's see.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. I'm trying to think of some of my favorites because
If Senda wants to chime in,
yeah, she can.
Yeah.
I will say things.
Yeah, let's see.
For her.
Viciously Ill is Viciously Ill takes place in the period where Lily is actually between, like, she's not dating anyone from the band, which is actually a pretty rare time. And you think it means about being sick, but it was actually because it was recorded in the early '90s. Viciously Ill was kind of like a reference to the Beastie Boys, like Licensed to Ill.
Yeah, they tried to mix some rap into their songs.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I
that
just
was
heard
really
that.
awkward. Like that, that did not take well. They are definitely not a.
Fiction and Aggression apparently is the
Friction-
track title.
Friction and Aggression,
is
yeah.
the title track from the same
Yeah,
name?
Redacted Muppet.
Nice.
That's the.
There you go. That's a good
yeah,
one.
Redacted Muppet was the song we came up with last night.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you for that bit of Ditch Lilies trivia. To get more, you should go listen to Pandas Talking Games.
You should.
Yeah, you should just absolutely.
Cross promotion.
Very subtle.
No, not at all. There's no
We
there's no
pimp it
subtlety-
hard up in here.
No subtlety at all there.
By the way,
Yeah. I wrote a D&D adventure for the new Baldwin's Game Adventures, which, by the way, Baldwin's Games has the Moonshade Isles, which they get to release adventures in themselves, which nobody else can do for convention-created content. That stuff
Yeah.
will start showing up at Origins and Gen Con, which, by the way, if anybody wants to hang out with me at Gen Con, assuming they let me run games, I'll be at Gen Con. I'll also be at Origins.
I mean, I'll be at Origins.
Yep,
We'll all be at Origins. They said
Holy
in
Lord.
unison.
The Queen approves of our not-so-subtle promotion, by the way.
Yeah, there we go.
Pardon me.
What else did I do? I mean, we played Dungeon World Perilous Wilds.
Yeah.
I saw Rampage
Yeah.
Oh,
with
did
The
you?
Rock.
Yeah.
That movie was good.
Better than Jumanji?
No.
No. Okay, Jumanji's still.
So, as far as like action movies go,
Yeah.
okay, so this movie eventually it starts off not being super self-aware of itself.
Right.
But as the movie goes on and it becomes more ridiculous, it becomes more self-aware of how ridiculous it is. And it's like The Rock having a good time.
I mean, I have to admit, like, the game is, the movie's named after the video game. The video game is not that exciting of a video game.
I love that video game.
I mean, I've played the shit out of that game in
It
the
was
80s
amusing.
too, but, like, there's not much variety in that game, right? Like, climb up building, punch out building, make building fall.
So Rampage the movie is a perfect action movie world game.
nice.
Like it should be an action. That's how I'm judging it. Like
Yeah.
it is completely an action movie in the B list category of action movies. That's where it belongs. It's pretty fun.
Okay. I'm going to, for my time, I'm going to go and hit, I'm going to hit Jumanji.
You should.
Yeah, that I do want to
It's a
see.
good flick. I really liked it a lot.
I may watch that with Dante this weekend.
Jumanji is not a B level action movie. Jumanji's a good movie.
Yeah. That's what I keep hearing. Like people
Yeah,
say
everybody
it's
keeps
like
saying it.
Like it gets knocked into the in my opinion,
Yeah.
into the A rank of movies because its storytelling is spot on.
the acting, the
The
casting.
acting is spot on. The casting is quite good.
yeah.
It is doing something deeper than you expect it to do for a movie called Jumanji, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it is in that A level of movie. It gets like an 80,
Yeah.
which is a really high rating.
So
I-
Jumanji, genuinely good movie. Rampage,
fun movie.
way better than it should have been.
Rampage is a fun action flick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good,
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
but it's fun.
Okay.
The monkey and The Rock. The Rock is a really good actor with CGI characters. Strangely enough.
I mean, he's a good actor.
Yeah,
I mean, not
like-
dramatic, but I mean, he's a good physical actor. I mean, that's a thing that
Comedic actor too. Strangely
Yeah, he's actually got a
enough.
pretty good. He's got a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, he's got good comedic timing. Surprisingly, like I mean, that's not a thing I would have expected.
Not
from him.
Timberlake like comedic timing, but
Well, I mean,
I
this
don't
isn't
know,
his
man.
first time out either because he's done comedy before.
Yeah.
yeah, he's done action comedy is a
Yeah.
thing he's done
Uh
a
huh.
bunch of times.
He's good at it.
Yeah.
yeah. He's like filling the niche that Arnold used to fill, but doing it better. in
Better,
other
I
ways.
Yeah.
think. I don't
honestly.
think Arnold was awesome at action comedy.
He wasn't.
No. Yeah, I mean action. Yes.
I mean,
like,
the epitome of action comedy. I don't even know if it's action comedy. Comedy for him was Kindergarten Cop.
Action condomy.
Comedy. Condomy. I didn't say condom. I didn't say condom.
I heard condomy.
What is a condomy?
It's an adjective. It's like, this thing's all condomy. I don't know what it is. But
I
it's
kind
all
of
condomy.
now that he's described that word, I kind of understand what he's talking about.
Now I have the skeeves. Okay.
no,
Oh,
thanks,
the
Bob.
rundown was a great action.
The Rundown
comedy
is
by
an
The Rock.
excellent action comedy. I love that film.
And Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott's great in that movie. I mean, that's kind of what I did.
All right.
Nice.
I mean, I did a bunch of other things. It's been 2 weeks. There's so many things.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. What the hell else did I do? I don't know. Whatever. I'm just a fucking machine that turns out work. Like that's all I do.
I mean, you're also a fun-loving guy.
Really? I'm not sure. I think I just turn out work right now. Like I don't think I'm.
You played Strike Force.
I'm playing a mediocre game of Strike Force. Apparently, is
Do
what.
we do we have enough people in our alliance yet?
I actually don't know if we topped out. Like our alliance is. I mean, our alliance is strong. Like
It's
I mean,
true.
we're putting up some serious numbers. Like I don't think I play that game enough in the course of a day. I'm suspecting that some of you are playing way more than I am.
You need to play more? Is that what you're
I
saying?
mean, some of us are spending 600 energy every day. And
yeah.
also playing, 10 blitz matches, 10 to 15 blitz matches.
Yeah, I don't.
And also doing 5 arena matches. And also
I'm just-
running raids.
Yeah, see, I'm just like I'm basically just churning out work.
And
right?
strangely enough, like in that whole course of time of what I just said, it only takes about 45 minutes to do all that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing at lunchtime, and I play like once, like when I get home at the end of the day. Like, I mean, I'm completing all my dailies. Like,
Yeah, that's good. That's a good start. If you want to be, that's the casual play.
I mean, I'm about as much as I can commit
Yeah.
at this point.
It's fine.
So, I mean, I could commit more. We just, we don't do things like the books for encoded. We don't
Like
take care of the
like I
you
said-
have like
distribution
important things
Like
to
I
do.
said, everything I do takes me 45 minutes.
I know. Yeah. So
I usually do it in 3 15-minute sets during the course of the day.
got it all worked out now.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? I've seen you with your fucking phone. I can't believe that you're only playing 3 15-minute sets. Every time I see you, your phone is turned fucking sideways and you're playing this game.
I mean, there might be the times when I'm like being traveled somewhere, so I don't have anything else to do.
Like in the middle of in dinner, in the car.
Well, at dinner, I'm also talking to you guys while I'm playing.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Chris is multitasking.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
I suppose we should move on. Let's do some announcements.
Yeah.
So let's. I mean, we don't really have announcements. We just have like.
We don't even have to do the whole copy. I'll just do I can do the brief version.
Do you want to do the brief?
Yeah, ready?
But the copy's so much fun.
Oh
man.
Okay, here
Man,
we go. You want to do the copy? You want to really lean into
these
it?
Bills, they're killing me, absolutely murdering me. I've been shot like 27 times. If I won the lottery, oh my God, I wouldn't have all these bullet holes in me.
You would think so, but that's not always the case.
Oh come on! If I won the big bucks, I would not have bullet holes in me. I just swear to God, I would pay a doctor to give me armor. To defend from all the bullets that are being shot at me. And then I would go to every gaming convention just because I could, with my armor, my Iron Man armor.
Of course. That's what everybody thinks. But in reality, people always wind up showing up looking for money. There's corrupt financial advisors and managing funds. Winning the lottery is hard. Ouch.
There's got to be a better way.
So, man, but really, what are the chances that I'm going to win the lottery?
None.
That's accurate. But really, I can get that same experience of winning the lottery by playing a game, I hear.
Yes, you can play the solo RPG Whirlwind Millionaire.
By Phil Vecchione.
What? That's crazy talk.
Yeah, you start out the game by figuring out your well-being and how much money you've won, and then you play through 3 phases of your life, finding out and facing challenges as people come looking for your money and disaster sets upon you, etc.
Yeah, man, each act you take a turn by drawing a card with a challenge on it. You answer some questions and then roll the dice and see how it worked out. It could be a windfall or it could be a disaster like getting shot. I don't actually think you can get shot in that game. Can you get shot in that game? I feel like you could just narrate that you got shot.
I mean, you could say you did.
You can narrate that you got shot.
That can happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this actually sounds kind of fun, and you can pick it up at drive-thru, right?
Drive-thru cards.
Fantastic. By the way, our one of our members of the Slack room, my coworker over at Lake Effect Gaming, Effie Madsen, she bought a copy of Whirlwind Millionaire.
Yay,
took a picture and
thanks.
showed
Yay.
me. Yeah, so that's cool. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Effie. That would be the Suicide Pixie.
Yeah. Oh, let's do QCC.
Yeah, because by the time anybody hears this episode, like
there'll be a week left, right?
No, there's like 5 days left right now.
Oh, well, no, fuck it. Well,
So-
yay, the QCC funding.
Hey, everybody in the chat room,
God,
QCC, 5 days
I
left.
hope
We
it
need
funds.
$2,000.
We need
Spread the word.
$2,000. Please give us money. Go tell people.
Tell
Thanks.
people.
Please
Appreciate it.
spread the word. We need the QCC, and we need a whole bunch of people to come to the QCC because there's a bunch of
really
people
do.
that I think are in the chat room who are coming.
Yes.
When we drop this show next week, we want to come on and go, QCC funded, woo, yeah.
So, real quick for anybody who might be listening right now,
What is going on tonight? Like, we are all over the place.
I'm having fun because
Okay.
you were a little
Yeah.
confused, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I'm just
Of course he's
gonna
enthused.
take this and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
and be a little ridiculous.
Okay.
I'm feeling it. Are you feeling it? Feel it.
Not on camera.
Okay, that's probably.
I mean,
accurate.
I could
Maybe
feel
later.
it, but,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
kind of like
With
on
my
camera.
right or left hand.
And anyone who might be offended by that, it's cool. Me and Phil have a thing. It's fine. Anyways, we're wondering
It's a
about that.
groovy kind of love.
It's a groovy kind of love, unless you're Shaggy in that picture. Oh. Anyways, that's completely. Go look it up on the internet.
Like Scoob, I don't feel so good.
It's also an Infinity
Lid,
War spoiler, so
lid.
don't look at that.
Lid.
Anyways,
How is that even
Lid.
remotely anything
We just
with
had
anything?
to talk about that. We just had to talk about the non-spoiler spoiler.
yeah.
That was a thing.
we did.
We're going to spoiler court.
Wow, you got smacked down from spoiler court. Anyways, let's move
Fuck
on.
you.
Oh,
I was doing a Shaggy voice and didn't even mention anything about anything else that anybody would think was a spoiler.
Well, that's the first time I've had to turn Bob down in forever. He got angry and loud. Oh man. Okay.
We are explicit. You have been warned.
Are you feeling it, baby?
Anyways, so Todd Crapper made us a really nice bumper, which
did.
Which you couldn't load up.
I couldn't load up to the iPad. Apparently, I'm.
What does it sound like?
technologically-
Can you tell me what it sounds like? Can you
Sounds
describe
awesome.
So it's Todd Crapper with some epic music in the background, going, "Welcome to the game room."
Oh man, that sounds so good. I wish you had loaded
I'm
it.
feeling
I know,
it.
me too. But in that case, I'm just gonna do this. That's dice rolling. Welcome to the game room, where we are going to play some games. Not build better games, just
No, play. You were
Play.
right the first time.
Play
It-
some games.
It loses it if you have to take it apart.
does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit.
Sorry. Well, let me.
joke's not
I'll
funny.
just try.
No,
again.
don't do it again. Don't do it again. It's just worse.
So let's recap what happened. So we're playing High Plains Samurai.
Yep. We are playing High Plains Samurai.
This is the second session of High Plains Samurai.
Yep, that is true.
In this session, we are going to explore two things for you folks out there: how resources work and how vitality works in the game. Now, last time we were here, Mauser, who is played by Bob, who's a gunslinger, and Lotus, who is a
Samurai-ish.
geisha samurai person.
She's a samurai.
Okay, cool. They went to talk with a mobster in Yangtze, I believe that is the name of the city, to ask permission to track down the assassin Dollface.
Yep, that was Bolo we talked to.
Bolo, yes.
Yep.
Bolo.
After a small fight there to prove your worth, the heroes were given permission to go and hunt down Dollface. Then they went to meet one of Lotus's contacts, a Michelle Liu, who, over a game of Pai Gao, revealed where they could find Dollface. Which is the, if I remember correctly, the golden something or another. The Golden Moon.
Thank you.
That almost went to a bad place, as it normally does.
Whoa,
with
hello.
us. 'Cause it's not really my kink. Anyways,
Not really your kink?
it's not my kink.
There you go.
So I'm going to be more definitive about
Be a
that
little
one.
more definitive.
I'll be definitive there. It's not.
Otherwise, I got to ask some more questions.
Oh, man. Anyways, Michelle insisted, though, that they killed Dollface. That is the challenge that I introduced.
that was that's a bit of a complication.
Yes, and bring back her broken mask, which conflicts with the bounty, which was to bring her in alive.
That is problematic.
All right, so we open the scene at the Golden Moon. The Golden Moon is a casino and high-end establishment. It's called the Golden Moon because in the main room of the place there is a depiction of the moon hanging on the far wall that is made out of entirely gold. There are stars all around it that look like they are made of diamonds.
Wow.
This place is very
Probably
high
are.
class. The carpets all in here are very thin, but they are colorful and vibrant and crisscrossed with lots of patterns to make you not look at them. The play and gaming tables in here are all felt covered. The people who are running the tables are all well dressed in black and white uniforms that are quite sharp. And there are a lot of rich people around playing table games. There's some rules that you need to understand about the Golden Moon. And Mauser, you know this because I'm going to say that you've been to Yangtze before. So there's no violence allowed inside the Golden Moon. You are not allowed to actually bring your weapons. In fact, you have to check your weapons at the door.
Well, that is suboptimal.
That is suboptimal, yes.
Especially since Dollface is known for teleporting weapons.
That is also very, very true. So with that being said, also no key powers are allowed to be used inside the Golden Moon. So those are the rules. If you happen to do any of those things, it's illegal. You get banned not only from the casino, you can be arrested, and you can be excommunicated from the city.
Uh-huh.
So that is a thing. And it goes for everybody. Like, if Dollface were to do that, she would also suffer the same fate.
Uh-huh.
Like, she doesn't, as far as you know, Dollface doesn't have any special
Pull?
pull or anything like that. With that being said, we assigned resources before play, but because of the special situation
I
here,
was just going to say, it seems a little awkward.
yeah, you can assign resources every scene.
Okay.
So if you want to reassign one of your resources currently, you can. Now, real quick for those people out there who are wondering, resources are a prop, a skill or background, or a teaching that you can assign. And what they do is they either give you a damage bonus if you work them into your potentials, which are the description things that go as part of your description, or they can be used as a step bonus.
Okay.
I'm totally doing
So,
that.
considering that my war fan and my sword are going to be confiscated.
Correct.
I will create a resource of a umbrella.
Okay.
Because Lotus can actually wield that effectively.
Okay.
So I'm going to create a prop umbrella, and the umbrella will be a step. So
Okay.
if you want to talk about that really quick.
So step bonus is basically when you have use your description to get your die, your description, which has a number of potentials in it, to get your die type, which is a D4, D6, D8, whatever however many potentials you have. Potentials are the number of descriptions that you use to get your die type, and the maximum amount is per potential. You can step your die up one beyond that as long as you used that resource in your description, as long as it relates to it. So if Phil gave 3 details, it's details is what they're called, as part of his description during his action, and one of them included his resource that he's talking about, it would turn the die from 3 details as a D8.
Yes.
That would turn it to a D10.
Yep.
You get to roll a D10. That's what a step bonus is.
And technically, it is a paper parasol.
A paper parasol.
Yes. Send a fix that for me.
Thank you, the Queen.
Yes.
Thank you, the Queen. That's your new title, the Queen.
Thank you, the Queen.
Yeah, not thank you, Queen. Thank you, the Queen. All right. Let's see.
Oh, and to let you know, I added the skill improvised weapons
All right, cool.
No, neat. Yeah, yeah.
for a step bonus.
Yeah.
All right. So you are in the Golden Moon. What do you do?
I think we, as not to look like 2 bounty hunters come rolling in, I think we come in as a couple.
Okay.
I have my paper parasol like on my shoulder, and I have my arm. I have taken your arm.
Yes.
Okay. And I think we come in and we get drinks and survey the area to see if we can see Dollface. Dollface is pretty conspicuous. Like, she has a doll mask for a face.
That is true.
Yeah.
So it really shouldn't take too much to spot her if she's out on the floor. I suspect she won't be, but we'll start there.
Yeah, she is not out on the floor. But what you do notice is Mauser. There is a woman named Keen, who is one of Dollface's lieutenants. Works with her often. You see her over at one of the tables. She's got she's wearing a leather coat under that a red shirt that comes down to her leather pants. They're brown leather, and she's wearing leather boots too that come up to her mid calf. Her hair is long and brown. She is a rather attractive woman, slender, lean muscle. Looks like she's quite dangerous. You've actually tussled with her before. She tends to throw knives. That's her weapon of choice. You also know that she can read minds. She has telepathy.
Oh, fun.
And like I said, you've had an encounter with her before. Why don't you tell me what happened the last time you ran into her? What was the conflict that you two were involved in?
Yeah. I was trying to bring someone in, and she was trying to find someone in the same general vicinity. She was having a meeting with somebody, and she likes to mess with me just because she likes to. And she read my mind and figured out who I was going after.
Yeah.
And sent a couple of other goons that were with her to run interference.
Interesting.
And we almost came to blows over it, but then my quarry beat feet, and I had to leave. But I gave her the stink eye.
Cool. So you see her. You notice her.
Awesome.
So what do you do?
Well, we can do this one of 2 ways, Lotus. We can either keep looking, or we can go over and talk to Keen.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I mean, if we say something to her and then walk away, she'll certainly head to her boss to report in.
Yeah.
So that may be the best
Absolutely.
way. In fact, let's why don't we split up? She's not expecting me, so
Yeah.
I'll stay at the bar. You poke her,
Yeah.
right? Like you rattle her, and then I'll see where she walks off to, and then you just follow me.
excellent.
Okay. So you go over to the bar. This place is fairly crowded. It's not completely crowded. Like there's plenty of lines of sight,
But
but
it's nice and busy.
It is nice and busy. Like I said, a lot of well-dressed people wandering around. The camera is on Keen right now. How do you enter the scene?
So right now, from where we came in, she's across the room at a table facing sideways. So
Okay.
I'm like looking at her profile.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do is scooch off to my right and kind of swing around behind her. And then come up from behind and just slide up to whatever table it is that she's at. Slide up next to her. And I'm going to, when I get there, assuming that nothing happens in between, I'm going to slide up to the table next to her and go, doesn't look like you're doing very well here, Keen.
She doesn't flinch, but she gets a smirk on her face, and she says, "You're lucky I can't use my key powers in here, otherwise I would have felt you coming, Mauser."
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it?
I mean, it's easy to get the drop on someone when they don't see you coming, I suppose. Luckily, it's not like you could really hurt me in here.
It's not like I was really trying to get the drop on you either.
What do you want, Quick Draw? McGraw?
I'm looking for someone.
Yeah? Who are you looking for?
You boss?
My boss. My boss. You want to talk to Dollface?
Absolutely.
Why would you want to talk to Dollface?
It's business.
She rolls the dice, and she wins some money. And they're like,
Ooh,
hot
luck's
roller
changed.
here, hot roller. And they slide the dice back to her.
Maybe I should stick around and win you some more money.
Oh, you're not that lucky. In fact, well, maybe you are that lucky. Remember that query that got away from us last time we ran into each other? I managed to pick that person up and collect the bounty on it, so thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
In fact, here, she picks up one of her chips and hands it to you. A tip for you.
I'll palm it and put it in my vest pocket.
And she looks and she's like, I'm going to pass. And she puts the dice down. She collects the rest of her winnings. It's like, it was good to see you, Mauser. I don't think Dollface really wants to talk to you.
I don't think that matters.
It'll be interesting then. She wanders away from you. Do you try to follow her? Or do you just
No.
let her go?
I'm going to let her go
Because
for
I'm
a minute
following her.
and let
I know,
Lotus
that's
pick
why
up
I was
the
asking.
scent.
Yeah.
You see her...
It's like a perfect handoff, right? Like
Yeah.
you walk away, she starts to walk the other direction, and like I like put my drink down and walk in her direction.
In fact, that's what happens. The camera, she starts walking one way, and she whispers to somebody, and they kind of look at you, and they're like, like, excuse me, sir, the lady wants her privacy. And then as she walks the other way, and they look like they're people who work here,
Yeah.
and they're not going to fight with you, but
Of course not.
I mean, they look like they work here.
Of course.
Yeah. So she walks one way, and then the camera pans as Lotus starts trailing along behind her. Follows her right through a set of doors that go into the back, where there is a hallway with another hallway off of it, a couple going down, and a bunch of doors for private rooms. You hear a number of things going on in these private rooms, from deals to other
Activities.
Activities, yes. You think you peek in and see somebody doing drugs in one of the rooms.
Sure.
You know,
Smell of opium.
Yep, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you see her go into a room.
Perfect. And then I'll wait for Mauser.
All right, and after a little while, Mauser, you can get around those people, and then you make your way to where Lotus is.
All right.
I nod to the room.
All right, so...
Hallway or door?
Door.
Okay. I stand in the hallway.
You stand in the hallway?
One of us is going to cover the hallway. One of us is going to hit the door. Or one of us is going to open the door and confront her.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're going to go open the door?
Yep.
All right. The camera is on the door. You're standing in front of the door. You can hear voices from inside. And by the way, the door is it's actually wooden with some paper windows, so you can sort of see the shadows behind it. There's light in there. You can you can hear, and like I said, you hear a number of voices, like 7 or 8 different voices talking. There's like some sort of
Meeting
fun
or
time conversation, drinking party
Okay.
thing going on in there.
It's a sliding door?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you do?
I stand kind of sideways, and I grab the door, and I go...
The door slides open, and everybody stops and looks at you, all 8 of them. There is, you see a woman. You see Keen, first off. You see another woman who you don't recognize. She and 2 other women that look exactly like her.
So that would be 3 women who look alike,
Yes.
and I don't recognize who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And Keen, that's 4.
Yep, and then you see 3 gentlemen
Okay.
who are all chatting with the 3 of them, and just a guy who looks like a thug with them.
No Dollface.
No, Dollface is in there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You threw me for a second.
Yeah. I apologize. It is the 3 women that look alike: Keen, Dollface, and those 3 gentlemen.
Okay.
There we go.
And they're having a good time. Sorry, that's 8. There you go. And they look up, and obviously you can't read the expression on Dollface's face because
No.
Dollface. And Keen's like, It's really hard to get a private room in this place, apparently.
How's it going, Dollface?
It's going fine. Who are you?
My name's Mauser.
What do you want, Mauser?
To have a conversation.
Then speak.
Well, I'm here to bring you in.
You're here to collect the bounty on me? You have balls on you.
I'm also not alone.
Not alone. Who might be with you then?
Are you in the room at this point?
I'm standing by the door. Not
There-
in the doorway yet.
Is there only
but
one way in or out of this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll stroll in behind him. Bolo said that it was fine for us to collect the bounty. You've run out of credit in this town.
Fair enough. Apparently you've proven yourself worthy to be here. I may have to have a conversation with some of the local thugs.
We're not going to fight here.
No, not at all. In fact, I suggest we fight elsewhere.
Good. I was hoping you'd be honorable and agree to fight in another location. Name it.
There is a building in the shell. It is called the Crustacean Towers. It's not quite finished yet.
I know it.
I say we meet there on the 30th floor. It'll be away from people.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Agreed.
I will meet you there tomorrow at sunrise.
Agreed. See you then.
I will see you then.
I wink at Keen.
All right. Well, that's actually a good place to pause for a second. We really didn't engage much of the mechanics.
We didn't really. So far, that was kind of narrative setup.
It was. So there could have been a mechanical situation there if you didn't want to fight her in a place of her choosing.
Yeah.
Because then we could have negotiated for where the fight would take place.
Yeah, I was more concerned that we didn't get the fight here, like that. No, like that we weren't going.
She doesn't want to fight here either.
Yeah. So that was fine.
It was interesting that you have given her the fight in the place of her choosing.
Yep.
So it's her ground, really.
Right.
So we didn't really engage in mechanics all that much.
Yeah. So why don't we then just use like a moment to just to kind of review what we like. We could just talk about some alternatives, right? So,
Sure.
Like for instance, as one of my resources, I had diplomacy.
You did. So if you wanted to argue for a different place to fight, because she picked the place,
Yeah.
which you all seem to be fine with. Like,
Do you want to back that up and we can redo that so we can engage the mechanic?
We don't have. We can.
Okay.
We can talk about right now what would have happened if we would have engaged.
Okay,
The mechanic.
yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So she wants to fight you at this place of her choosing. Let's assume that you don't. So what is your counter?
Yeah. So all right. So the interesting part is like I don't have a. I mean, I only have two potentials, and neither one of them is negotiating, right? Like one is deadly and one is never forget my friends.
That's true.
So would I start at a D4?
I don't know. I would say yes.
Okay.
Right? Like I think the only thing that you can get out of that is a D4.
Right. So then diplomacy was a boost or a step. So then I would have gone to a D6.
Correct.
Yep.
If you would have only had one description. So like it would have been
Actually, two details for a D6. Right, because a D4 or less, right? That would have been one detail.
Yes, but your description, your description of your one detail would have had to include diplomacy.
Yeah,
That's what would have given you the step.
Right.
Because it's not giving you more details.
Right.
It's just you have a D4 for this, which gives you one detail, but you have to put diplomacy into that one.
Oh
detail.
yeah. You're right.
That's how the game.
And then that just
functions.
gets me the step. Right.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah. You're right. So correct. So I would have had a D4 and I would have stepped that up to a D6.
So for instance, she says, "I want to fight here." You would say,
ridiculous. Like we're not fighting in a place of your choosing. Like we'll fight on neutral ground.
"We'll fight on neutral ground." Well, how are you being diplomatic?
Yeah. So to be more diplomatic, Lotus would politely say, right. So she would be like, well, if we agree to fight in your location, clearly you have the advantage. So to be fair, and to be honorable,
that would be tricky because you just said the thing, right? That would be one detail. See, this is where the game actually gets tricky. You have less actions and options when you have lower dice. So it would be very difficult to do a D4 with diplomacy.
I think it would have to counter, right? So then the direct counter would just be simply, not at the Crustacean Tower, but at like in the park at night.
It would be more honorable.
Yeah, it'd be more honorable
and fair to fight in the park
Yeah.
at night.
Right.
And then I would say, sure, that seems reasonable. And I would say, go ahead and roll your d6.
Right.
Which, by the way, why don't you just roll it so we can see what happens?
Yeah, sure. So D6, 2.
Yeah, and she has Shrewd Negotiator at d6 plus 1, but that makes her defense a 3. So what'd you get?
2.
So you actually would have failed.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Failed on odd, right?
Yes. Now, let's talk about Vitality real quick, because it's the other thing we want to like explore a little bit.
Yep.
So, and this is good because this is a negotiation. It's not a fight, but you can still spend Vitality.
Yep.
So, how many Vitality do you have? You have 10.
I have 10.
Right. You can re-roll by spending 1 Vitality. And the defense is 3, and you rolled terrible.
Yeah, so I do that, right? So I spend 1 Vitality. I get a 5.
Nice. See, that would succeed then.
Yep, and then we would push it into the park at night.
Yep, and with that being a 5, we would go to the table, of course.
Yep.
Which the table then would say, I think odds is the...
Odds is the other.
Is I get to pick the complication?
I think that's how it goes. So it was effective with an odd number.
Yep. Target gains a complication of choice.
Target gains a complication of choice. So I get to gain the complication. Well, really, I'll just pick the thing, which is... no, you know what? You don't want the fight to be at the tower. You want the fight to be in the park. But really, you don't want the fight to be in the tower. You want the park, I will say, not the tower, not the park. How about by the Jala field?
Yeah, or at Bolo's place.
Yeah, at Bolo's place in the meatpacking plant. How does that sound?
Yeah,
and that would be the complication.
Yeah.
It's still her ground. It's not the ground she originally wanted.
Right.
So that's interesting. That's interesting how those mechanics work. And that would have cost you Vitality. Does that make sense? That seems to make sense to me.
I think so. Yeah. I think the part I don't get is how the complication is. Well, yeah, I get what I want, which is I don't get the tower.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That would be the way that I would interpret it. Really, the thing is, you don't want to fight on the ground of her exact choosing, like her preferred ground. So, because we're both writing the story, right?
Yep.
And so you get to not have her fight at the tower. And we negotiate to mutually work at the meatpacking plant. Now, that seems to be how those mechanics function in that situation. I'm not sure if that's 100% right. It seems right.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think we should just... I mean, are you okay if we just roll with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah. And Todd confirmed the D4...
If you don't have a thing?
With one defense and 1 detail.
If you don't have a potential to apply.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's nice having...
Having the designer in
the room. Like,
instead of us struggling to figure it out.
Yeah.
By the way, how many paper bags have you blown through so far, Todd?
That's funny. Does anybody in the chat room have any questions for us currently?
Not at the moment.
All right, cool.
All right, so I like that. So we're going to go back to Bolo's place because that is a place we could all definitely fight. Like,
yes.
We're familiar enough with it, and more importantly, Dollface thinks she's reasonably safe there.
Yes.
Yeah. Which gets her out of whatever death trap construction site she was going to put us in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because there's for those folks who are listening, if you fight at the tower on the 30th floor, like there's a challenge that I can bring to bear where like you just fall and you're like falling through the air because the building breaks underneath you, and then it's like wire foo in the air.
There you go.
Which is kind of neat.
Todd says the complication can be an inception where you convince the other character of something that isn't true. Like fighting somewhere else as a third option is better, but it's not.
Interesting.
Right.
Huh. I mean, I kind of like... That's good to know. I liked what we did, though. That seems to work.
Yeah, I like the idea that like we got it out. Like we didn't pick my place.
We didn't pick my place. We picked a different place.
Yeah, we picked a place that's actually potentially complicated for both of us.
And not really your place or my place. We didn't pick... Because that's how this game works. We didn't pick Dollface's place.
Yeah.
We didn't pick Lotus's place.
Exactly.
We picked a third place.
Yeah. Which potentially is complicated for both of us because Dollface has a history with Bolo, but Bolo also gave us the okay to pick up Dollface. So really, no one really knows at this point where Bolo fits.
Correct.
In this.
Yeah, as far as we know, Bolo could be like, whoa, what are you bringing a fight back to my place?
Plus, Bolo also said at one point that he was going to take the bounty for himself.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And now we just walked her into his joint.
Yeah. So, and She still wants to fight it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to argue over that. And we only had one detail to fight anyway, so
Correct.
we moved the location. The morning's fine.
And you did well, and you spent your vitality.
Yeah. So I'll mark down my vitality.
I don't think you have to, because at the end of a scene.
Vitality
but you didn't
refreshes?
achieve all your goals. Scene goals were to not fight. No, the scene goal. Okay, the scene goal here was to find Dollface and
Not get into a fight.
not get in a fight. So you did. So
Yeah.
you both get a vitality back.
Oh, okay.
If
So
you were, if
I
you
went
lost
from
one.
I went from 10 to 9 back to 10.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
I could have made you roll earlier, probably for the tracking Keen down, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary. Really, the whole point of the scene was to get into
Yeah.
get into there with Dollface and then have an interaction.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
I will say, as a sidebar,
Mhm.
from a MMP production point of view,
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine. Unlike a regular AP session, or unlike when we're naturally playing a game, I think it's okay if you force something like that into the game.
Sure. I mean,
Like-
I will to
Yeah.
model mechanics. 'cause
Yeah,
that's what we're
exactly.
trying
Like
to
you,
do.
like what we just did in retro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have been fine if you had said like, "Hey, right now, let's if when we agreed, you could have been like, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you resist it?
Sure.
so we
Let's-
can play that out."
Yeah, I'll remember that in the future.
Yeah. I think we're evolving
Well,
this as we play.
Yeah, and we're trying to model mechanics too.
Yeah.
So it's a demonstration also.
Yeah, so it's I would not I will not feel like my
Agency.
thank you, my agency's being impinged upon.
Yeah, because we're not.
Because this is very much demo play.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on.
I think there's a prep montage, right? Like
there
there's
is going
nothing
to-
mechanical, but I think like that night there's I'm sharpening my sword, I'm flicking open the fan and closing it, I'm practicing moving it with my telekinesis, right? Like all of those.
I'm cleaning the pistol out.
Yeah.
Cool. Where are you doing this?
I think we have a hotel room, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. As you're in your hotel room, doing doing through this montage,
Yeah.
there's a knock at the door. Room service.
I look at you, right? I've got the war fan in my hand. I'm like, did you order anything?
No.
As soon as you say, "Did you order anything?" the wall kicks in, the windows kick in, the door kicks in, and there's a bunch of we'll call them. They're basically ninjas, right?
Sure.
Like they're they're wearing like black
Ninjas break down the door.
Black pajamas.
They have
She is despicable.
except they're not all ninjas, because they're like ninjas and gangsters. So they have like fedoras on, and some of them have Tommy guns.
Yeah,
and some of them have katanas.
I basically just spit out the word like dishonorable cow.
Gangsters.
By the way, there's like 20 of them.
That's it? She only sent 20?
Only 20.
Let's set scene goals.
Yes.
I think our scene goal is not to defeat all of them. I think our scene goal is to get out of here alive.
That's fair.
Scene goal is to live, yes.
I think
I will tell you what the book says.
I would like to set that table stake. I think
I think that is a completely fair table stake.
20 to 2 sounds high.
It is high, but they are considered a
I'm assuming they're like a mob like thing,
yeah, they're kind of a group.
Yeah.
but there are 20.
Actually, they're not. They're actually 3 vitality each. It's kind of crazy.
Then our goal is to get out of here.
It's a bad situation for us, but Mauser does not let on and makes a quip about, being insulted that they only sent 20.
Yeah, I like your nice.
Yeah.
I like your scene goal of escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now they don't have a ton of vitality, so you can actually take out multiple with a hit.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Well, and I think we will as we mow through them to get out of here.
All right. I will say, Mauser, what do you do? We'll go with you first. Remember the popcorn initiative thing? They go as 2 groups of 10.
Okay. So so they just busted in through wall, window, and door.
Yes.
Okay.
And for fun, you're on the 4th floor.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll
least.
be make a break for the door. So running fight for the door is probably the order of the day. So I will, because I was in the process of cleaning my pistol at the time. I will. Yeah.
Everybody got their original resources?
Yep.
So what are your resources?
I'm sitting here with pistols, and I'm going to leave my my improvised weapon skill.
Fair enough. And you have...
I have the war fan, which is a step resource.
okay.
And I have Shisha, the Deathbringer.
Yep.
My katana. That is a damage.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to keep my skill for diplomacy.
Okay, cool. Proceed. Sorry.
Okay. So
By the way, procedurally, that is a thing that you're supposed to do, is set your resources at the beginning of the scene.
yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm sitting in a chair cleaning my gun.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to rise up from the chair, and as I'm doing that, I'm going to use the action of getting up.
By the way, real quick, what are you doing first, and are you applying a potential to it? Because that matters for how many details you can describe.
Yes, it is. Since I'm going to be making a break for the door, this is going to be a running fight to leave the building.
Sure.
Yes, I'm using my potential. No one gets in my way.
Oh, nice. That's
Yes.
cool.
Yes, which is a D8 plus 1, 5 defense, and 3
So three
details.
three details. Nice.
So yes, so as I rise up from the chair,
Uh-huh.
the chair gets kicked back into the first ninja that's behind
Cool.
me.
Like it.
Okay,
So you rise up and kick the chair.
rise up and kick the chair.
I'll call that a detail. Nice.
And then I shoulder roll past the second one,
So move forward, shoulder roll past the second
Yep.
one. Okay.
and then come up shooting the one that's between me and the door,
All right. Cool. And
which activates my pistols.
nice. And is your pistols are damage or step?
They are step.
All right. So you will roll a d10,
I will roll a D10.
and the defense that you are rolling against is, I will say it's a 3.
All right. And I have rolled a 10 plus 1 is 11.
Is that the highest
a
number you
10?
can roll?
That is the highest number I can roll.
That is a specific thing in the game.
Yes, it is.
That is called a I forget the maximized.
Hang on. I'm on it.
Thanks.
I was right.
Wait a minute. Is this like Savage Worlds in some respect
No.
where like
It doesn't explode,
it's
but
not
it's big.
explodey, but it's
It doesn't
special?
explode, but it means I can't mess with it.
It's
by
an
saying-
absolute.
Yes, it
It's
is an
absolute.
absolute.
Whenever anyone rolls the highest value on their die roll, it's called an absolute. While the roller can shift it up or down, another player cannot spend vitality to affect this value.
Nice.
In other words, if you roll an 8 on a d8, it remains an 8. Using a flat bonus to reach a die's maximum value does not count as an absolute. So you have to, it's the natural
Yes.
roll on the die.
Yes,
That's cool.
I can't do anything to it. He can, but I can't.
Yes.
And even numbers are always better for you folks.
Yeah.
Because you get to describe the
Awesome
stuff.
sauce.
So it's effective. You do everything that you say you're doing to and get and you also deal damage. So you're trying to make a break for the door, right?
Yes. And no one gets in my way. So
Yeah.
there's at least one guy between me and the door that just got cored.
Probably a couple more.
More than that, because the difference in the roll was you rolled a 10. I got
It's a total of 11. So
It's a total 11
against a 3.
against a 3, so 7. So that's two guys, two folks get shot. Bang bang, they go down pretty right out of the way. In fact, why don't we do this? You stand up, you kick the chair back, right? That actually hits one, knocks him out the window. That's way cooler.
Yeah.
Right past another guy who dives in, and then as you shoulder roll past the other guy who swings a katana at you, you pop up and you shoot another one who's coming at you with a katana overhead,
Yep.
and he just falls down. Or he goes backwards because this is an action movie, right? And then he
Yes.
can totally goes backwards as the power of your gun blasts him backwards. Who do you pick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got distracted because Todd jumped in with a comment on the chat room. Got to mention that the +1 flat bonus on those potentials is optional. You don't have to apply it. It's like a free shift.
Ah.
+1 flat bonus.
Yeah, because I have D8 +1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do I. So you don't
Yeah.
always have to use it.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of the last number.
Yeah. Because it's the
Oh,
odd or even.
So
because I would get to choose then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I can
you
leave it
really
at
don't
10,
want to use it. You want to leave it
Yeah.
at 10.
Which
so it makes
you did 7 anyway, so that's
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
cool.
That's cool.
That's good to know.
Okay. To keep things interesting, I'm going to let the bad guys go.
All right. Well, bad guy group 1 will go first. They come at you pretty hard. So I'm sort of like skewing this a little bit for speed. I'm not using every single person in every single group. I'm sort of saying that they're aiding each other in a lot of ways, which gives them step bonuses and whatnot. So, and only so many of them can get at you, right? So the one you shot goes down. Another one comes in behind him, and the other one unloads with a Tommy gun at you as the one jumps up and tries to slash at your head. So that is the two details. So one of them leaps up and slashes at you, and the other one shoots his Tommy gun across the base. That gives me a D6. What is your defense?
5.
I got a 6.
Well, there you go.
No, I only got a 5. Never mind.
You
Sorry.
only got a 5.
Yeah, I will spend one of their vitality though to turn it up to a 6. You can spend one of their vitality to turn it back down to a 5.
Sure.
One of your vitality. So that gets your vitality to a
11.
11. And
I have extra vitality. That's what my key power is.
my group's vitality goes from, instead of having as much as I do, I have a lot less. Because now they only... Sorry, I'm doing math, everybody. This is weird to do math on a podcast. So bizarre. Okay. All right. I will pick the other group, which those are the ones coming through the windows, right? So a couple more come through the window with katanas, and they come right at you. Mm-hmm. One of them slashes at you from one side, the other one slashes at you from the other side. So it's like a clang, back and forth like that. That's their two details.
I am deadly D8.
Cool.
So defensive 5.
They're probably not going to be as good. They're going to go step bonus for the D8 to roll. I could probably do better than that with the description. So they have two details. So one of them pops in and starts slashing at you. Mm-hmm. They both pop in and start slashing at you, and you pull your sword out. And
I don't want to pull my sword out. I'll block with the sheath on.
With the sheath on?
Yep.
All right, cool. So you pop up.
So I've got the war fan and the sheath sword.
Yeah. So they come in and start swinging at you with their swords. That's detail 1.
Yep.
You pop up and block with your sheath on one side, and then your with one hand, and then your war fan with the other hand, spinning and blocking like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Several strikes. I rolled terrible. So I rolled a 1. That means I don't succeed, and I think on the odd you get to give me the complication.
Right. So yeah, let's see. Is it the versus challenge part?
It's ineffective with an odd number, which means the roller gains a complication chosen by the target.
Yeah.
Yep, because it's not a versus a challenge.
So I'm putting the complication on you.
Correct. Remember, complications are like aspects.
Yeah. So I'm going to say the complication is these are the ones that came in through the window.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's what you call it? They're tangled up. So as I'm blocking, I tangle them up in the curtains.
Oh, nice.
Like, because I'm spinning around.
Yeah.
So as I'm blocking, like with the sword, like I hook with the fan, like I hook the curtains and tangle them up in it.
Cool. I dig it. I like that. So they're tangled.
Yeah.
Very cool. I will pick you now because I don't have anybody else to pick.
Yes. So I will now. All right. So ultimately, I'm going to blow them out the window. So now that they're tangled up, got my 3 details. I leap back for a second.
And this is using your deadly.
Yep.
Right.
I concentrate because I'm going to use my deadly with my key power. I concentrate for a moment, and then I unsheathe the sword and strike the bundle that is the
guy's tangled in the curtains.
Yeah. And basically, I'm going to use the sword with telekinesis to basically blow them out the window.
So instead of like a sword slash, it's like a force slash.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool.
Okay, so now the sword is a damage, so it's going to be a D8 plus 1. Okay.
Or if you want the 1.
Yeah.
Well, it's a D8 starting. And then I guess I have up to 3, right?
Yes, their defense is only a 2.
So I have a 5. And if I add 3 to it, that would become an 8.
Why is it at 3?
Well, because damage is plus 2?
Yes.
Right? So a 5 puts it odd, which means that...
yes, because your D8, it's a D8 plus 1 for deadly. Yep, I understand now. Yes.
Right. So, if I put it up to an 8, that is succeeds and even.
Yes, succeeds and you get to choose the complication.
Yep.
Right.
Pretty much every roll has damage and a tag or an aspect or a complication. That's the jargon for the game is applied. It seems to be how the game works.
Yeah.
Right. So effective with an even number versus an opponent. Target gains a complication chosen by the roller.
Yep. So you rolled, so choose the complication.
I'm going to leave them. I'm going to sustain a complication. So whoever I don't kill stays tangled up in the curtains.
Actually, because you did so much damage, you rolled an 8.
Yeah.
That's 6. That kills them both.
Okay.
Or takes them both out, I should say.
Oh, so then if I can assign, I can still assign a complication.
Now, if you want, they are considered a group.
Yeah.
You can spend a vitality to assign a complication to the group.
I think nope. We're on a running gun. We're
Yeah,
not.
we're on a
We're
running
not
gun.
actually.
Can I suggest a complication for you to assign?
Yeah.
So they're coming. Their group is coming through the window.
Right.
If you put them in the window tangled up, then the group can't get through the window.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, they're blocking the
Yeah.
window.
Then you
Yeah.
say tangled and blocking.
Yeah.
So
Tangled them.
they're taken out, so they can't fight anymore,
Right.
and they're blocking the way.
Exactly.
But it costs you a vitality.
I'm happy to spend that. So my 10 goes to a 9.
For everybody out there who is listening, what happened was it costs a vitality to affect a group. So that's why I had him spend that vitality. I probably should have. That's why I didn't actually have Bob. One of the reasons why I should have had you spend the vitality before to tangle them up. Although you weren't really affecting their group in that case, you were just affecting the individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have just let the group keep doing things.
Yeah.
But now the group is affected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am messing with the rules a little bit here. That is not exactly how the rules are written, but I think it makes sense for what we're trying
Well,
to
we're
model.
going to find out when Todd,
Yeah.
hears this. And
Yeah, right?
If he goes all send and says no.
Yeah, right.
bad, wrong, fun. Bad,
So,
wrong, fun.
so there you go. Who do you want to pick? It's start over, so you can pick yourself if you want.
Does it go to me?
Well, it's
Whoever you want.
You can pick anybody you want. It's the start of a new round.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Mauser because Mauser was like plowing the way out of the door.
He's technically already outside. Well,
No,
he's
I haven't
moving
made it
that
out
way.
yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we're both. That's the direction we're both heading in.
Uh huh.
I believe there was one more guy between me and the door after I.
There's
after
more
I-
guys outside.
Oh yeah, even better.
Yeah. In fact, if you want, the camera can be out in the hallway.
Hallway fight scene time.
It is totally hallway fight scene time. The camera can be out in the hallway if you want.
Okay, so doing this the proper way, I have 3 details, and if I want the pistols to be in there, they have to come in there, but it doesn't matter where in the sequence they come in.
Correct.
So what I do is I pop one shot through the wall next to the door
Uh huh.
because I know there's a guy standing
Absolutely,
there.
there's a guy standing there.
Okay.
In fact, the camera's in the hallway watching that. So that's one.
Then I leap out the door and like I can't think of the word I want, but like bounce off the far wall, like spring off the.
So you're gonna leap out the door, like in the air,
Yeah,
wall kick off the wall.
yeah, wall kick
So you're gonna jump, wall kick back the other way.
and come back down and punch
Oh,
the
interesting.
next guy.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So,
So that's 1, 2, 3.
I just spent yours for you.
Sorry.
yeah, he was doing it for you. So that's cool.
Yeah.
The defense is still 2. So
Yeah. So so the pistol shot goes off at and I get a 10, which I roll a 5. So I will make that a 6 with my +1, so that it's an even number. And what was the defense again?
it is a 2. I'm actually gonna spend the vitality to turn it back down for them. They have plenty of vitality to burn because they have a lot.
And I'm gonna let him do it.
So I get to pick the complication.
And I should shout parkour when I do that.
Yeah, you totally do.
Did you just shout parkour?
I'm pretty sure one doesn't shout parkour, Harry. One does parkour.
By the way,
that's from the
Todd
Dresden
also
Files.
said the group complication is flawless, exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
these aren't specifically supposed to be groups. That's why I was saying that, but I
Yeah.
have them in a group.
It's easier.
I just added all their vitality together.
And I don't know how you want to resolve the punch at the end. It's
Oh, no, it does the damage.
okay.
So you did the damage. Like, that is... All of that together is...
Yeah. So I
like-
did damage with the shot and the punch all in
Yeah,
one.
it's all
Yeah.
in one roll,
Yeah.
right? So
Got
like
it.
you rolled a 6. I turned it down to a 5. The defense is a 2. It does 3 to them. That actually takes out another guy.
Apparently, Todd says parkour is French for what the fuck did he do?
I mean, he would know.
funny.
He's Canadian, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you do all that. The complication, though, is they're all stunned for a moment. They're like, well, actually, if you want, you have to spend a vitality to apply it to the group. And if you do, then they're all stunned.
I would love to spend a vitality to the group.
All right. So they're stunned. Who do you want to pick?
At this point, I'm gonna pick her.
Call
Okay.
me in, coach.
Yep. Lotus is going next.
Okay.
So Lotus, they're stunned.
Yeah. I emerge from the room. Mm-hmm. That's my first detail.
By the way, there's 7 of them left.
Right. I pop open the war fan. And I throw the war fan using my telekinesis to just like slice down like a group, like just along a line of them in the hallway.
That's pretty badass.
All right. And so since the war fan is a step, because one of the things I wanted to try was to have one of my weapons be damage, but the other one to be a step.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go up to a D10.
Yep, +1. Or, well, with the option of adding 1.
Yep.
I like that there's an option to add that one.
Yeah, that's clever.
So see, not great.
Now, here, check it out.
I could spend a vitality and re-roll this,
You
right?
can. Currently, you are at... I have a defense of 2, so...
So I could get that, but it's not going to do a lot of damage.
Correct. I mean, you could have a 4, which means you still get to apply a complication, which they already have the complication of stunned.
Man, that's tough.
That is tough. I could technically roll worse, but it's a pretty low roll. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind murdering someone. I'm going to spend a point. Let's try it out.
All right, go ahead, roll.
10.
Good roll. So that's an absolute.
That's an absolute.
And I'll ignore the +1.
Now, real quick, you've rolled 2 absolutes this game, right?
Yeah.
This scene. I get a challenge every time you roll an absolute.
Okay.
That's
So
fine.
I currently have 3 challenges at my disposal.
That's good.
Nice. So like she steps out into the hallway, right? Like it's in slow motion, and like she pops out the fan, and she just, and it chunk goes down like a couple.
Do you want a 10 or an 11?
I think I want the 10 because I get to assign the complication.
Okay, and you have to spend a vitality to assign a complication to the group.
I'm gonna do it, man. Like because
All right, cool.
escape is our goal, and if
Do
we
it.
do escape, I'll get all my vitality
Yep,
back.
and they are currently stunned, and then
Yep.
you can apply another complication to them. By the way, your 11 does, or your 10 does 8 points of damage to them, which kills 2 more of them, or 3 more of them, in fact.
All right, so here's the complication. I take out the lights in the hallway.
Oh, so it's dark.
Yeah. So when I throw it, after it kills the second guy, it whips around and takes out the overhead light
Love it.
and like lands back in my hand.
Cool. There, it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
They, okay, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Because I get
Yep.
2 groups. First off, group 1 is going to spend a detail. So you hear "Bah!" because one of the details that they spend is to grab the people and
get
throw
rid of them.
and throw them out of
Yeah.
the way. And I spend a vitality to do that too. Because it costs a vitality to use a detail instead of a description. Detail is the littler parts. How many description? How many pieces you get to put in your description? Description is an entire action. So they're going to spend, but they have to spend a vitality
To overcome that.
to create. They have to spend a vitality to make it so that it can be a detail instead of a description. So that's the first thing they do, which means they have less vitality left. So you hear that, wah! And then they rush into the hallway, but it's dark, so they can't actually do anything narratively to attack you at the moment. But that other group that was in the other place is now in the hallway too. It's just you're surrounded, but no one can see you, so it's dark. The
Nice.
other group, they are going to. Something's going to yell, "Snap out of it!"
to try to overcome the stun.
Yeah, which they can spend the vitality to do that. I like this that you can get rid of these things narratively by
Yeah.
spending vitality. That's
Yeah.
actually really cool. Like,
Yeah.
There's no roll required. You just do it. I think
But
that's.
you're using a resource.
But you're
so
using a
that's cool.
resource. I like that. So they're no longer stunned. One of the ones that's still alive in the back. He's like, I got this, and he starts glowing. His hands start glowing.
Oh, that's not good.
But that is how he overcomes that. But those are their 2 details.
Yeah.
So they're done. We go back around, though, and it's my turn again. I think I like it from a story point of view that I kick it back to you guys. Because, like, his hands start glowing, and they glow right in front of Mauser's face. As Mauser's right there. What do you do?
I wink at him.
Oh. Is that a part of the
I'm
description?
gonna take that as one of my details. I
love
wink
it.
at him,
Okay, that's cool as hell.
and the gun that's in my hand goes off
Oh.
right here, and he's right in front of me.
Yeah.
So point blank, I pop him, and then I'm gonna turn and sprint. If I gotta push somebody out of the way while I'm doing it,
that's fine.
I'm pushing somebody out of the way.
Yeah, huh?
That's the last one. All right, so shooty bad guy in the facey. That's a 7. I'll throw the 1 on there for an 8 to make it even.
Yep, and that is good because they only have a 2 defense. That's 6. That actually, they're
Kills
almost
a couple dudes.
That does. There's only one guy left in that hallway, from that group. So, and then you run past that guy whose hands are still glowing on the ground even though he's dead.
Yeah.
Bleeding out. Who do you kick it to? And you run around the corner.
Oh, I'm bringing Lotus.
Yeah, I'll.
Bringing Lotus. This is the escape sequence.
Right.
Really, you can just use your entire description to run away because there's nothing that's in the way really, except for the one guy, and he's not going to stop you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I will. I will. I will take off. So, like I leap over that last guy. And I book around the corner. And I kick open the door. I kick open the door to another room that has a fire escape.
Oh, neat. I
There
like
you
it.
go. Because clearly we planned ahead when we got the room.
So let's call this.
in the first place.
So there's a mechanic in this game. So
Yep.
we've been doing verse opponent the entire time.
Yeah.
There's a thing called verse challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the challenge to escape, right? Like to
Yeah.
escape the group.
Sure.
Why don't what were you using? Not deadly, probably, to run away.
Well, at that point, then I think I have to use.
Never forget my friends.
Yeah, never forget my friends.
'Cause, like,
so I
if-
was one less detailed then.
Oh, that's a.
I mean,
Yeah, sure.
I run around the corner. We kick in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leap over his head, run around, kick it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
think-
run around the corner,
Kick in
and
the door.
Yep.
Okay. So why don't you roll your die, and the challenge we'll say is for the defense is a 3.
Okay. I have a D6 in this, so if I spend a vitality, I can go up to a D8, right?
I don't know if that is.
Oh, okay.
You can shift the die roll up or down one after you roll.
Oh, because I can.
Yeah, you can spin the die
Okay.
after you roll with
Right.
with a vitality.
So it's a D6. Okay. Oh, but I could re-roll with vitality if I don't like.
you can
this roll.
re-roll it or you can shift it.
Okay.
You have choices.
So this is diff 3, right?
There's a lot of dice manipulation with your vitality in this game.
6, and
Good
that's
roll.
an absolute.
That's
That is an
an absolute.
absolute.
Which you get another challenge.
Yes, I do. But you overcome the challenge, which is you avoid effective with an even number. You avoid the challenge and you gain a +1 vitality.
Oh, hey, so I'm back up to 8.
Yep, there you go. So at that point, it became I changed it from a fight into a challenge.
I think
It's
that's
now
fair
about
because
escaping.
we had kind of stripped past
Yeah.
the fight part.
You run, you kick open the door. You're in that room. Just tell me how you escape the rest of the scene.
So there's a fire escape, and so I think we basically we run into the room, and Mauser, being the brute he is, like basically throws the dresser in front of the door as I like pop the window open, and then the two of us.
You good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
The two of us go out the window down into the alleyway and and go to ground.
Yeah. Except when you go out the window, it's not running down the fire escape. It's like leaping down the fire escape.
Yeah.
There's none of this
Yeah.
running down the fire
bounce,
escape.
bounce,
Yeah.
bounce.
Parkour.
Again, I don't think we're supposed to yell.
And as you run down the hallway, the guys with the Tommy guns come out to the edge and they start shooting at you, but nobody hits you. The bullets just spray around you.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to end.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, can I foreshadow something for the next?
Sure.
For the next scene. So, Dollface wears that mask, right?
Yeah.
So there's a moment where we see Dollface without the mask. Okay, and as I'm running away, like as we're running down with the gunfire going off, I have a flashback to the night in Monsoon where my master was killed.
Yeah.
Which also involved running away under gunfire because I am haunted by flashbacks, and maybe motivations could be something we'll work on next.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it says, avenge my master, choose a supporting character in your storyline. This character killed your master.
So was it Dollface?
Oh,
Yes.
it was Dollface.
Yeah, like
love
you
it.
see Dollface standing on the battlement with like my dead master in the background with her minions like firing down upon us like as I'm running away.
Nice.
Pulling the sword
out of my
that-
master.
out of your master that
Yes.
she killed him
Right.
with.
But I don't know it's Dollface, right? Because she just has, like, it's just her face, right? But then she, like, after she kills him, like, she puts the doll face on or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, because it's the thing she does. She takes the mask off to kill people.
Yeah.
So it's the last thing to see is her face.
Yeah.
Killed my
Interesting.
master.
Killed my master. All right. So
Sweet.
I didn't do a thing that we should have done. Like, She's a Super Geek is an actual play RPG podcast highlighting women as GMs. Join them every other Tuesday for lots of different RPGs and guests, because that is one of our shows, and we like to highlight our other shows. Now we can go to the chat room real quick to see if they have any questions before we go to the debrief. Anybody have any questions for us?
No question. However, Donnie Harville made a great comment. He said this game's like Feng Shui and Marvel Heroic had a game baby.
Kind of.
Yeah, and Todd said that's got to go on the cover of the book, and I like shouted, "Yeah, back cover copy."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like. Okay, let's talk about the mechanics that we just played with real quick. 'Cause
Yeah. Do you mind if I reposition my mic for 1 second
Yeah,
and get
go
into
ahead.
like the comfy?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, so resources I think are cool because they add another element to descriptions, and something for the players to aim at. I really also enjoyed the fact that if you don't have a potential that fits, it does go to a D4. That's fascinating because if you're not good at a thing or you don't have something that really affects the scene, you don't have as much say about it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense
You can
to
still do
me.
something, but you don't have as much potential for effect.
Now
which
what's-
is why those are called potential.
Now, what's interesting is that kind of like the D4 in Savage Worlds, the D4 in this game has a 25% chance of being an absolute.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's actually not good for the player characters.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, right? So it is because no one can mess with it, but it's bad because it keeps provoking, it keeps generating challenges.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting thing because that, that mechanic, the absolute tracks very close to the exploding die, which has that same thing, right? Like the D4 is a 25% chance of exploding anytime it's rolled.
It's true. And there's not very many defenses that are higher than a 5.
Right. So, I really liked how resources are reassigned every scene.
Yes.
Like that was really cool because we had pre-game picked out our resources, and then when you described the location, I'm like, well, shit. Nothing. I've like 2 of the 3 things I picked don't work.
Correct.
Yeah.
But then like being able to be like, oh, well, this is where the scene's taking place. Then no, the Warfan and sword are out. The paper parasol's in because I can use that like as a step,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of, weapon. And the improvised weapon was really cool.
Yeah.
Beer bottle and, that kind of thing.
That's why I pocketed that chip too, because if something went
Yeah,
down, I was gonna,
bullseye.
like, flick the chip like bullseye.
That's funny.
In
I
fact,
like it.
it's still in my pocket.
That's cool. I like it.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
that-
going to write that down because that's going to show up again someday.
That dishonorable dog is going to pay for.
I'm having a lot of fun playing these games and talking about them.
Yeah, me too. So I thought this was the detail thing, like doing details and stuff like that, was a lot smoother this time around for me. I really liked the resource and the vitality. I'm going to look on my cheat sheet. Is there like a list on the cheat sheet of all the things vitality can do?
I hope so. I mean, I wrote it down on my show notes
I'm
that I printed
looking.
out. So there's a.
I see required details.
By the way, I went to the Broken Ruler page, Todd, and I couldn't find.
Todd will tell you where the URL is.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out where the heck the sheets were to print off, like the bigger, better ones. I was looking for them. I couldn't find them. I was so frustrated.
Interesting.
It made me sad. Would you please find
I'm
them,
gonna
Bob?
go
I
look
could
right
just
now.
be blind.
Oh, this is I have the director sheet. That's why the director sheet doesn't tell me about using vitality. Let me see if my sheet
I wonder
does.
if that sheet does.
Potentials and complications. So that's just a thing. Like that's a thing that would be helpful is to have like a quick reference.
Yeah,
to,
there is, because there's 5 things. Once again, there's complicating groups. It costs 1. There's a reroll, which costs 1, plus 1 extra per roll in the scene. So that's a thing I didn't think about. Like every time you want to reroll, it costs another 1. So like if it's the 3rd time you've rerolled, it costs 3.
Oh.
So it increases constantly.
There you
Okay,
go. That
I
makes
like
sense.
that. I actually like that. There's like a penalty, like
Yeah.
so you just can't spam out all your vitality.
Yeah, I forget what the penalize one is. There's like a penalize one. I can't remember what that means, which is probably why I didn't suggest it or use it.
So how about for our next adventure next week? Why don't we expand vitality and try to actually use all of the ones in there?
Well, we almost used them all.
Did we?
Yeah, there's not too many more. There's penalize is the one that's not in there that I couldn't figure out what it does, but remove a complication, which I used,
Yes, you did. That was awesome.
and then shift, which is shift to die up or down.
Can I tell you that
Die roll up or
so
down.
compared to Fate, in Fate when you want your bad guys to remove an aspect, you actually have to like basically roll it off to like you got to like make a skill check.
It's true.
Like to get rid of it.
Yeah,
like you have to overcome it, right?
You do.
Where I really like for simplicity, I really like in this game where it's just like, well, I'm going to use up some of the vitality of the bad guys, and I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this condition.
It's fuel for story. Because I actually have to spend the thing,
Right.
say what I do, and then it gets
But it's also
gone.
faster.
It is faster.
It's faster, and it actually happens instead of, oh, I'm going to clear this thing, roll, check. Oh, no, I didn't. Do I want to spend a fate point out of my fate point pool? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I want to re-roll. Like, it's easier. Like, it's a lot more streamlined.
and I don't have to spend the resource. I could just use my entire action to get rid of it.
Yeah,
And then
like
it
they could have just
automatically
spent
goes away.
all turn pulling apart.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think one of the other things I liked how you switched us out from fighting combatants to the challenge. I think that was like the timing for that was perfect. I think that we had killed enough to break free, and then I liked that then we ran.
Now this game, there is a potential that these scenes can go on for actually a very long time.
Yeah.
In fact, I think next time we play, like there's like one really big scene left in this version, in this particular session thing,
Right.
Which we might like after that, like that'll be session 3 of play, and then we'll probably do an episode or two about like
Stuff we pulled out of this.
yeah.
While I'm preparing our next game.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is Gangbusters.
While I was looking
Boy, you're going to be in
for
for a
the
shock.
website, did you discuss penalize?
I tried to figure out penalize. I didn't know how it
Todd
worked.
says penalize places a -1 step penalty on a character.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
And that's how do you do that? I mean, I don't understand how that one works. I have to go look it up. I'll have to read it. Like I don't know. Like,
I guess you can shift their die down if you want.
Do I spend it beforehand? Is that what I do with my complication? I think that's what you do. So if you get to assign the complication, you can spend a vitality and penalize them, and it reduces whatever they try to do their step penalty. That's how that works.
That sounds like it's right.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember reading.
And the sheets, wrong website, not on the Broken Ruler website, highplainsamurai.com/resources.
Okay, fine.
That's where
I'll go look there.
That's where the
Thanks, Todd.
cheat
Appreciate it.
sheets and pre-gens
So
and scene
confusing.
notes and
So I got to
all
tell you,
kinds
I started reading Gangbusters.
Yeah,
This is some 80s tech, man.
I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow.
Well, is there anything else we want to say about this before we move on?
I will say once again, I think that I had no problem doing some very cool cinematic stuff. The rules supported that. I actually really like the detail thing. Like, I like the detail thing because I need to spend them, and I need to make it descriptive. Like it's way cooler than just being like, I'm gonna attack the guys coming in through the window, right? Like I have to
Yeah.
be I have to be like, I have to include like some level of cinematography in this description.
I will be honest. I read Screenplay like a year ago.
Yeah.
I was not a huge fan. Now that I'm actually playing the game, I'm a way bigger fan.
I'm surprised because I was like, the premise of this game is absolutely in your wheelhouse, which is writer's table.
Yeah, but I didn't get it.
You didn't grok
the
it.
First time I read it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, this game is great. Like
Yeah,
I would
it
play
makes
this game
perfect sense,
a
yeah.
ton. This game is super fun.
Yeah, this is
It's-
cool.
I like there's a lot of moving parts, but it's all very clever and very useful. Spend the vitality to do the things, and the extra +1 is optional because if you want it to be odd or even, you get to make that choice.
That's actually really neat.
It's
the
really
plus.
cool.
That was really nice to have Todd in the chat room because I didn't read that anywhere.
Yeah.
I would have played that wrong the entire time. So there's and I read the rule book. I've read the rule book twice now. So I mean that might be a thing. Like I've read the rule book twice. I keep missing things that are maybe important to the game. But I guess we can talk about that when we actually
Yeah,
like.
I
really
still have to
like,
flip through
kind
the
of
book
review
myself.
the
I haven't
game.
read it yet, but I plan on doing that soon too. And he said, by the way, you were right. Your interpretation of the penalize, that's exactly correct.
All right,
It's-
cool. I love Vitality. I think it's a great mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vitality's great. You want to spend a resource to push some story around?
Yep.
You got to,
Well, it does exactly how it's described then too. I don't know if the weird thing is it's called Vitality, right? Like because it's really presence. Because presence in the scene is what we're talking about.
Right. But it is kind of vitality because you are taken out or something if you...
if you get to 0,
True.
you're taken out.
You were less relevant in the scene at that point.
Yeah.
You don't have as much...
Donnie Harville actually misdirected Mark.
Word scramble.
Asked what happens at 0 vitality, and Todd said the character is written out of the scene by the player who put them at 0.
Yep.
So,
Which means it can be you.
Yeah, and you can be killed.
Yeah.
Or you can just be like...
Knocked out, dragged away.
Uh-huh.
You
can run away.
Exactly.
Because there's that, that thing where like somebody runs off because like, come back here, Dollface, and then you run after Dollface.
Yeah.
Yeah, very clever.
Yeah, cool. I'm looking forward to the showdown.
Yeah, right. So, do we have stuff for the social media depository? I didn't put anything in there.
I can talk briefly.
Let me do this thing first.
Yep. I can do a Phil's bag segment.
I mean, okay. Like, give us a Phil's bag segment.
So if you go look out on Twitter...
And while Bob looks up for something for the social media depository.
Yeah, if you go look out on Twitter and check my feed, I finished what is called my Mother's Ashes project.
What is that?
Okay, so Jason Cordova on a recent episode of The Gauntlet was talking about...
Can I real quick say Jason Cordova will be on the next episode of Hobbs and Friends?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, so Jason... So Jason had, he was talking about like always being ready to play a game. Uh-huh. And that he basically had this box that had the components for playing like 6 different role-playing games. So games that like are in Jason's like, permanent wheelhouse, like Final Girl, what is it? It's not Choose Your Own Adventure. What's the Cheat Your Own Adventure?
Cheat Your Own Adventure.
Right. So he had a bunch of those, but he kept it all he like kept all the components in a box so that like at a moment's notice he could run this game. And he was at this bar in Houston, and this woman asked him, I always see you with this box. What's in this box? And he says, my mother's ashes. I take her everywhere.
Oh, that's funny.
Right? So I was like, oh, nope, that's what this thing's called for now on. It's called Mother's Ashes. And essentially, I was like, oh, I want to now make one of these too because, I'm like an EDC guy. And this is like gaming EDC, right? This is gaming carry. So I was like, all right. I sat down because this is the level of nerd that I am, right? So I sat down with a page in Evernote and I was like, okay, what games would I want to be able to run at a moment's notice? So I picked Turning Point, Action Movie World, Damn the Man, Save the Music, Dungeon World with the Legacy Weapon or without, and Rocker Boys and Vending Machines, Lasers and Feelings. 7 games, right? And then I was like, what do I need to run all those games? Right? So I need some 6s. I need pens, pencils. I need note cards. I need a deck of cards for Damn the Man. Anyway, I wrote all that stuff down. And then I started going shopping online, looking for the right pouch. So what I eventually came up with was 2 components because I didn't want to miniaturize or do anything crazy with the character sheets and stuff. So I have a thing that I got from jetpens.com that holds all the character sheets, and it's like zips up and it like everything stays inside this like one pouch. And then I have a smaller pouch that's from this company called Condor, and it's this Molly toolkit. And I packed it full of all this stuff with extra markers, pencils, extra dice, everything. And it zips up. And so if you go look on Twitter, you can actually see pictures of both of it. And then I took it all apart and took pictures of what's inside of it and everything. But basically these 2 things, I can just throw them in my bag and I am prepared to run like 7 games.
Nice. That's cool.
So it's like my con emergency kit. And then like, I have on my iPad, I have all my rule books, right? Like I have, Damn the Man and all that stuff in PDF.
I wonder what my Mother's Ashes would look like.
Right?
And like,
I'm encouraging people to kind of put these together.
Go to the Misdirected Mark G Plus community and tell us what would be in your Mother's Ashes.
Yeah. What games would you run and what stuff would you put in there?
It's so weird to say.
I know. It just amused me because of course it's Jason, right? Like that story's so perfectly Jason that he just tells this lady like it's his mother's ashes. But like as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh no, that's what this is for now on. Like, but yeah. So now like as we roll up into Origins, like I can just take these 2 things, drop them in my bag, and like if we're between games or sitting around or whatever, like I'll run something.
At a moment's notice, you can drop any one of 7 different games.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. I wonder like.
I mean, Dungeon World is obviously in your...
Of course it is. Like, that's what I take with me. I could probably do Fate on the drop of a hat, too, as long as I have pre-gens. That's a thing.
Right?
Especially Dresden. I'm so good at that.
Dresden Accelerated?
Yeah, I have a couple of scenarios that go along with that.
Oh, Rob.
I mean, I don't know what else I could run at the drop of a hat. So much of the stuff I run these days is like D&D and whatnot, so that's the problem. I could do this. High Plains Samurai at the drop of a hat.
Right.
This
So
game
yeah,
would
so
be
you
super
just
easy.
yeah, you need just a couple of like yeah, I mean that was my idea was like, well, like Action Movie World, like that's a game I run a lot. And that's easy. That's a zero prep. The Lasers and Feelings and Rocker Boys and Vending Machines, right? Like those are super easy. Like, and those are fun, right? Those are super light. But I really like it. I've run it now twice, and I would run it for anyone who wants to play it. I will run Damn the Man. Like,
I would put Lady Blackbird in mine.
Oh, good choice.
I've never even run Lady Blackbird. I want to so bad.
We should do it one night.
We could play it. We could play it on this.
We could. I almost feel like.
I mean, I could just go release that actual play. I still have the recording of it, of you and
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I know, but I actually have the MP3 of it still.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That was actually the one that Rich ran, right?
Yeah. All right, I'll go break that up at least and release it to the patrons. I should do that.
Oh, patrons
Yeah,
will
you
enjoy
probably
that.
should do that.
Rich says that is the most romantic game of Lady Blackbird he's ever run, and that guy's run like that game like 100 times.
Yeah, he has.
Like that's not like, hey, I ran this game like 2 or 3 times. Like Rich has run Lady Blackbird, well, basically more than anyone else ever.
Emily says we should rethink the name because it brings up a lot of the feels I don't think you want associated with the thing. My Mother's Ashes.
It's not a terrible argument.
No, it's not a terrible argument. It just was like
it was funny.
It's Jason, and if you hear him tell it on the Gauntlet, it's quite amusing. But it's basically your con game kit. Like I said, if you go out onto my Twitter, you will see it. Like I posted all the pictures of it, and then several people yelled at me because I did not tag my porn, as they said. Like I got yelled at, like, Phil, tag your porn.
Man, I could do
Now you're thinking about it, right?
I mean, I could do. I mean, as long as I have the pre-gens,
Yeah.
like I can do FFG Fantasy Flight. Like I've done the Star Wars game. Like I've done it off the cuff before without having adventure beforehand.
So my question to you is, what is your that's what you're running. What does your kit that you put it all into look like?
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be a mess because I'm me. I mean, I'd probably do a better job because
It's like a Wegmans plastic bag.
No. No, like I actually, you know what? You know how you make fun of my satchel all the time?
I don't make fun of your satchel. Your
You used
satchel,
to.
it's inefficient to carry.
It is inefficient to carry, and,
Yeah.
and you're like, you should get a better bag. I'm like, my son gave it to me.
Well, that's the reason why you can't.
Yeah, I actually have to start carrying something else though because that thing is breaking. It's finally falling apart.
Well, I mean, you carry a lot of shit in it.
Well, I mean, I've had it for 7 years.
I know. I could make you some suggestions.
Oh, I mean, we'll see. I'll ask, but like I only have a limited amount of funds to buy certain stuff.
That's all right. I mean, there are places. I mean, I have expensive bags. I have non-expensive bags.
No, that'd be good. Something with a lot of pockets that can be very subdivided.
3V gear is
That
pretty.
will also
reasonable.
carry my laptop.
Mhm.
I mean, we're talking about bags now. Should we move on? Do we have anything in the social media repository?
We do kind of. Blake Ryan posted a thing in the community. It's an action calendar for Meaningful May.
Meaningful
And
May?
basically, it's basically a list of things day by day for May. Like Tuesday, May 1st, take the AFH pledge to create more happiness in the world. Wednesday, the 2nd, do something meaningful for someone you really care about. 3, Thursday, share photos of 3 things you find meaningful or memorable today. So it's kind of like a, kind of build some positivity.
So we're going to go from the
daily.
April RPG Maker thing to the May Meaningful May thing?
I mean, it's,
That's interesting. I mean, hats off to Kira.
absolutely.
I finished. I did all 30 days of that, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I struggled with a couple of the topics because not being really a tabletop RPG designer, they didn't quite fit. So I kind of had to come at them from a different angle. But it made me think, and it made me acknowledge some people that really every day should be reminded of how much of an impact they've had on me and how helpful they are, especially these 2 mooks right here.
I'm so bad at that stuff, like the daily like RPG.
I put a thing in
things.
my to-do calendar so that I would do it every day. So I got I managed to stay current with it.
Cool. Well, I mean that's kind of like
Excuse me.
kind of like the episode, I guess. We should
It's
probably just
kinda like
get
the
on out of
episode.
here. It is kind of
Just roll along to the after show because there's a list of stuff in the after
Let's
show.
do some
things.
let's do some Patreon shout outs real quick.
Yes, we should.
All right, so Donahue McCarthy, Joshua Black, Space Rhino, Mike Amir, Nate Brooms, Steve Bissonette, Evil Rich, John 40 Below, and Jean Lore Bear. I like some of these people at the bottom, like that are the $2
I like
patrons.
Space Rhino. Who's
Yeah.
Space Rhino?
Oh, he's so since we switched over to like just doing everybody down the list because we don't really have a good delineation for patrons anymore. Space Rhino was originally a backer of Down with D&D. Like he's always been a backer of Down with D&D for like years at this point. So he's the Space Rhino, right? He's always in the Down with D&D ATI forums. I always talk to him whenever he comes up and like, so I hope the Space Hamster is doing really well.
I want to set up a worldwide wrestling match: Space Rhino versus Chris Steele.
I know, right? There you go. That's a pretty good
Hell in
pretty
the
wrestling
Cell.
match. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, thank you everyone so much for listening.
If you are free Tuesday evenings, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, 6:45 p.m. the Queen's time, you're welcome. Come join us live on Twitch, where you can chat with the other awesome listeners in the chat room for life and occasionally ask us a question or two.
If you cannot make it to the live show, check out our podcast each week wherever you get your podcasts. Also, take a listen to some of the other shows in the Misdirected Mark Network, such as Down with D&D, Advantage to Insight, Bone Stone and Obsidian, Pandas Talking Games, Cyber Speak with Darcy and Troy, The Gnome Cast, The Wednesday Evening Podcast All-Stars, Zhang Yu Hustle, Hobbs in front of the USR, our newest member. She's a super geek.
Booyah.
You can and should also check out some of our other brother podcasts, The Knights of the Night and the Always Amazing Gaming MBS.
And after you have made your escape and you are running free from the bad guys, leave us some feedback. You can reach us directly via email, mmp@misdirectedmark.com.
Yeah.
Just tell Chris who you're looking for when
I
you
will
send the
forward
email.
that stuff.
Check out our Facebook group. Hit us up on Twitter. The show and the network is at Misdirected Mark.
Yes.
I'm at DNA Phil. He's Robert M. Everson. And that is always the Light 101.
Where I will play jazz if you ask for it.
Sure.
I'll
There
find
you go.
YouTube jazz to play for
He'll
you.
play the musical
I
instrument
probably
himself.
won't these days.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe I will. If
Okay.
you, if
I mean, I liked it last time you did it.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's good. Yeah. And then, of course, come to the epicenter of our awesome social media community where the signal is quite strong, our G+ community.
yeah.
Awesome. If you like what we do here and on the other shows in the Misdirected Mark Network, you can support our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMP. And we need to fix these show notes still to add in the other Patreons, right?
Yeah, right?
We should probably do that. Patrons get access to the after show, pre-production show notes, musical parodies, Pandas Talking Games, bonus outtakes, and other special releases.
Bob, I quest you with fixing the show notes
Fix
to
the
make
show
the part
notes.
that you say
Don't fix the
makes
show
sense.
notes. Fix the template.
the
Yeah, whatever.
template.
I said
if
your
you
words.
fix the show notes, it doesn't propagate.
That is true.
You got to fix the template.
With that, this has been a Misdirected Mark production, which is the media arm of Encoded Designs. And with the mighty Infinity Gauntlet, I say a mic drop.